So this is a cold one with Corey and Carlisle. And if you don't know already, this is simply a free-form conversation recording session where Carlisle and I, we sit down, we have a six-pack of beer, and we talk about things that happened the previous week before. Now, these are more like audio podcasts, which means that they're longer than our video reviews, and they're also unedited. So if you're offended by the foul language, you might not want to listen. But if you aren't, then sit back, hang out with us, and we hope you enjoy. Thanks.
It's time once again for a couple of cold ones with Corey and Carlisle.
How you doing?
I'm not too bad, man. Not too bad. I'm doing all right.
That almost put me to sleep, but that I mean that in a good way.
Like in a Perry Como way.
Yeah. Hello. No, it was nice, man. You're getting very silky smooth at this.
Very
these days.
velvety.
Exactly. Where's my beer? We started drinking before we even started, so.
Clearly.
So, it's been a good week in movies, man.
It has. Well, it's been a good summer, man. What are you talking about? We've had a pretty good time. Very few rough movies this year.
Nah, I mean, let's just go ahead and jump right into it.
You want to jump? Okay, well then, number 5.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Still in there.
Still in there, man.
But that's what everybody expected.
$275 million. That's a whole lot of money, man.
That's a whole lot of Snapple.
No,
we can even go back further and go, that's a whole lot of pudding. Oh, yeah.
What's that from?
$240 worth of pudding.
What is
Mr.
that
Boucher, bring that camera in here and look at all this pudding.
What is that from?
It's from the state. The old TV show on MTV.
That TV show?
The people who do Reno 911 and did Viva Variety, their first show was called The State, and one of their skits was these two guys in leisure suits talking about $240 worth of pudding.
It's funny because...
Where'd we get $240? Shh, ain't none of your concern, baby. Don't worry your pretty little head about it.
Man, it's funny because I don't remember anything about that show, but that rings a bell. I do remember a whole lot of pudding.
That's a whole lot of pudding.
And yes, $275 million would buy a shitload of pudding.
That's a whole lot of pudding.
So, number 4.
Number 4.
You don't mess with the Zohan.
You don't mess with the Zohan.
$68 million, man.
Yeah,
not bad.
Not bad.
No. It might hit $100 million before it's over with.
I still haven't seen it. I'm curious, but we'll see.
I don't know if you'd like it. I don't know
either, but I'm going to watch it anyway. I mean,
maybe I went in with low expectations. I'll go in there, watch this movie. I get a good laugh. Maybe it's because
now I will say that you and Leon are the most positive reviews that I've heard of this movie. Everybody else is like, man, it was crappy.
And I saw a lot of people saying that, but I mean, you got to keep in mind that him and I are not the biggest Adam Sandler fans.
No.
So
that's why I'm curious to see it. That's why I'm going to go in and see. I've heard both sides, and it's like let's see if this makes me laugh.
It's just funny though because I think maybe I will blame myself by saying maybe because I got a chuckle. That's why I thought it was so good. I'm like, oh, I chuckled in an Adam Sandler movie. This movie's great. So, but
clearly he has exceeded expectations.
It's just funny though sitting next to Leon because I gave the movie a matinee and I was like, it's funny. I mean, some parts are just too stupid for me, but it's all right. And he's like, oh, I disagree. I think this is a great full price movie. And I was like, I didn't know you just fell in love with Adam Sandler that much, but. Hey, whatever, man. We both had a good time.
Zip Adam Sandler back up there, Leon.
Exactly. So let's go on to number 3.
Which, just because, for number 3, I brought a big old bowl of steaming crow. Do you remember last week when we had this discussion?
Man, look, I knew you were going to do this.
Of course you knew. Because we had this discussion, you told me like 27 times.
Let me say what happened last week because we can even go back and listen to it. I just said, I don't know. Because last week you said, I'm going to bring up a big bowl of steaming crow. I was like, it doesn't matter because I don't know. I said, I took a guess.
I'm not saying that to rub your nose in it. I'm saying that for those regular listeners who remember last week's episode and now know that number 3 is...
It's The Happening.
The Happening.
Yeah.
Wow. That one did not take number 2. It had number 2 on Friday, but then had a huge drop-off.
Yeah, I think, and it's not getting like really bad word of mouth. I mean, a lot of people have said it's just mediocre. Because I went to see it and I came out and I said, I didn't hate it. I actually kind of liked it a little bit, but it's a mediocre movie. I think probably the drop off came from people telling them like, I was really not that scary.
Nope. I'll tell you where the drop off came from. Because you look, and the first night it made $13 million, and the second day it made $10 million, but the third day, Sunday, it made $7 million. A huge drop-off. You never see that big of a drop-off on Sunday. Generally, you see Sunday go back to whatever the Friday numbers were if the Friday numbers were a little lower.
Yeah, I mean...
Why did it drop that much?
Yeah, why?
Because it was a rated R movie on Father's Day.
Oh, was today Father's Day?
Today was Father's Day.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess my dad didn't get a call.
The stories I heard, I don't think he missed it.
Guess I'll call him tomorrow.
Happy Father's Day,
let's go
Dad.
see the happening.
Thanks for slapping me around so much.
Yeah, shit. I'm down there.
No, but no, you don't open a rated R movie on a holiday weekend if you want to do really well. But I think they knew that they were. I mean, when you listen to the Fox rep talk about this film, he was talking about how everybody had low expectations and how the critics and the audiences were going in gun shy because of Lady in the Water, because it disappointed, which they were fine with saying because they didn't make it. Had they made it, they would have said that it was misunderstood because that's Fox. But they went ahead and they're saying, well, you know what, everybody was not quite seeing really excited to see this, but then to see these numbers, that exceeds expectations, and it did very well in its third spot. So
no, it actually, they say it did okay. I mean, every report I've read has said that the movie did all right. I mean, for what they expected from it, didn't do too bad.
Sure.
I mean, $30 million is
did less than Lady in the Water's opening weekend.
Yeah, I mean, but they knew that because they knew that after following a bad movie, that this movie's going to have a big drop off too.
And it did.
I mean, and look, I'm not even trying to defend the movie.
No,
because
and I'm not saying
well, no, I'm just saying I'm not defending the movie because, like I said, I came out and I was like, whatever. I mean, you can look at my review and I praised the movie where it's supposed to be, and I criticized it where it was supposed to be. It's just funny if you go back and listen. I mean, look at the comments on that review though. People they either really pissed because I said good things about it, or they're really pissed because I didn't say bad enough things about it. It's and I mean that's to be expected, but it's one of those rare movies where people just come in and it's so polarizing with people who saw it already.
Which leads us to number 2,
which is Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda, baby.
$34 million and already passed $100 million. So
big money.
Which I still haven't seen it yet. So I mean, I'm really wanting to go see it. I was going to go see it yesterday, but cleaning my place up. So
you are missing out, my man.
No, I'm going to see it. In fact, I'll probably go see it this week, sometime this week, because it's haven't heard not one bad thing about this movie. So
there's not a bad thing to say about it. It really is that rare gem.
So let's go to number 1.
Number 1, which everyone saw coming.
Yeah, and by the way, see, this is what I'm talking about. You and I take guesses, so don't tell me about eating crow or anything, because you and I were talking about, is this going to do, it's the Incredible Hulk, by the way.
Sure.
And we're talking about, and I was telling you, I was like, there's no way it's going to do Iron Man numbers.
And all I said was that it was tracking at Iron Man numbers, and it was tracking at Iron Man numbers.
But I didn't come back and say, I have a huge bowl of crow for you.
Because it still took number 1, and it still did really well.
No, it did really well, but nowhere near Iron Man numbers.
No, it didn't do Iron Man.
And didn't even do the...
All I said was, I don't know, man. I'm hearing that it's tracking. And again, you can never fully trust it.
No, and that's what I said last week. There's all these movies, you never can tell about this. I mean, in a summertime like we have, it's kind of been a little unpredictable. It's just, everybody says how good the movie did, and I'm really glad the movie did well. It's just funny that it didn't do as well as the Ang Lee movie.
Well, there was so much anticipation for that at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was excited. And this one, I think this one's going to be one of those steady ones. It's going to have legs. Where once everybody talks about how awesome it is, people are going to go see it going, okay, really? All right.
Well, here's what they're saying. They're saying, okay, this movie took in $54 million. The Hulk took in $60 million. So what they're saying is that, well, the Hulk had this huge drop-off. The first one had this huge drop-off by bad word of mouth the next week. And they say, yeah, this movie didn't even do anywhere as near as the first one if you filter in also rising prices, too. It even did less. But they say that this movie has such good word of mouth to it that they expect it to reach what the first Hulk reached in a short amount of time because people will probably go see this again.
Oh, yeah. And keep in mind that unlike Iron Man, this didn't have a big Thursday opening. They just opened it straight on Friday.
No,
Iron
I realize
Man did
that.
Huge numbers, but had this extra day tacked on. And, in fact, even had midnight screenings tacked on.
And I think they're taking that into consideration because that's the first thing I thought. I was like, I can see why they're not making a big deal about the opening number because, yeah, it did have a Thursday opening. It did very well, man.
It
very well.
It did really well. It's one of those big performers this summer. So
again, one of those movies where the people who love the movie, if you don't absolutely say that it's perfect, they get mad. There's a woman on the site, or a girl, or well, I don't know, her name's Miss Go. She has like become, I think she perceives herself as my new enemy or something because she got pissed at me.
Get in line, bitch.
I know, it's like, yeah, you don't even know how many people are pissed at me, but she gets.
We all hate Mr. Coleman.
Exactly. You please take a number. I just love the way she opened up her sentence for the Hulk. She started out with "motherfucker." You didn't love the Hulk? I was like, I love that. I love that opening. Anybody that opens up by calling me not just motherfucker, but motherfucker. I can appreciate that.
Sam Jackson's daughter.
Exactly. That's what I thought when I saw it spelled that way. You could see Sam Jackson in the words.
Motherfucker. I was supposed to be in that motherfucking movie.
I didn't have a cameo in that motherfucker. But I don't know if it came across in the review. I mean, I really did enjoy the movie. I just thought, and this is me wanting the movie to be perfect myself. I just thought that the General Ross character and the Betty Ross characters could have been a little bit stronger. I mean, that would have made a better movie for me. But look, I'm not complaining about the movie that much. I got everything I wanted out of it. I mean, maybe not everything I wanted, but I got a sufficient amount of Hulk stuff, and that Hulk stuff was cool, man. All that shit, that fight at the end, I was kind of misled into thinking it was longer, but hey, I was satisfied after it was over with. I was like, no.
I heard 26 minutes. I'm like, 26 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I kept hearing.
Well, that's what Cyrus was saying, and I was like, I don't remember it being that long, but I remember the ramp up to that, and I think that includes the ramp up to that, all the stuff with the leader and.
Oh, okay, yeah, all other stuff. Yeah, no, that's it's cool how they're setting up villains too for.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me, for the other movies, but okay. Now that we talked about the Hulk, I want to talk about Edward Norton talking about the Hulk.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard anything about this.
Well, of course.
But somebody sent me an article from Perez Hilton, of all places.
Yeah.
And that's the only place I've read this where they said that Edward Norton hasn't really committed to the next two Hulk movies that they're talking about.
When I was at the first public screening of this several weeks ago, and several people from Marvel were there, and Gail Ann Hurd was there, and they had the director Louis Leterrier. And when asked about that, they were very dodgy, and that was the first clue that I had. Holy crap! Because they said, so you're going to get Edward Norton in the same film with Robert Downey Jr. and the Avengers, and every film is different. Every film has different commitments, and I was like, oh shit, they don't have him locked down yet.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't have him locked down. They locked down everybody but him. And that's what they were even saying in New York. They were saying, we weren't arguing, we were talking. And I was like, okay, yeah, all right, whatever. It's like, I don't know.
Arguably, what he was upset about is understandable. I can see why he was fighting for that.
And what are you saying he's upset about? Because there was some stuff, there's some scenes taken out of the movie that he wanted in.
There's 70 minutes missing, which we've written about on the site. And the thing is one of those scenes, the opening of the film, now that the film's out there, it's out there. The opening of the film was supposed to be Bruce Banner walking through the Arctic.
Yeah.
And he goes out in the middle of nowhere to kill himself. And he goes and tries to kill himself, and he turns into the Hulk. He tries to commit suicide. He turns into the Hulk, and that's when Bruce Banner realizes, I can't die like this. I can't end it this way. I have to find a cure to stop this thing.
Can I chime in here real quick? I'm all for them taking that shit away from Edward Norton and saying we're going to cut this down to what it is, and we're not going to put all this shit in it. We'll save it. If one thing I've learned is sometimes, occasionally, the producers know what they're doing.
Sure. No. I'm not arguing. What I'm saying is I understand what he's arguing for, because what he's arguing for is a deeper, darker, more personal movie. Now, granted, there's people who could easily argue, that's what Ang Lee got, and look what happened there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We won't know how that turned out until we see the footage on the DVD. But
I can't look at what they have now.
I understand why he was upset.
I understand. Well, yeah, because that's what he wanted. I mean, I understand why he's upset. But I really, what I saw in that movie was pretty tight. And they already had some scenes in there for me that could even been trimmed down a little bit more.
Well, that was for you.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Because I'm sure you probably got a couple phone calls during the whole. So.
Yeah, maybe so. But I'm looking at this movie and I'm thinking they got it tight enough right here. For you to go in and try to add all these other scenes and make the movie longer than it needs to be, That's unnecessary.
Oh, no,
I mean,
and I'm personally the way I would like to see a director's cut with that stuff put together, kind of like what they've been trying to do with Superman Returns, and I don't know why they haven't gotten that out yet. But Superman Returns is supposed to be 3 hours long.
Well, bullshit, because the 2 hours was enough for me on that movie.
It was almost 2.5.
See, that movie.
There's all this extra stuff. There's a whole opening. It's very much like that. There's this whole opening sequence where it's like 20 minutes long, and it's him on Krypton.
I mean,
I'm going back.
Oh, no, I remember people talking about that. They even had some shit in there with Marlon Brando and all that.
The point is, I am 100% fine with going the Peter Jackson route and have a nice, tighter version of the film that entertains everyone and doesn't bore and does really well. Then we get the director's cut version that we can watch over and over again.
That's what DVDs are for. Haven't you learned already? We don't need this dark shit with the Hulk. People want to see the Hulk tear up shit. That's what I want to see. I like that. I mean, this is
where his soul is. I wouldn't be surprised if Norton was the one who wrote that scene.
Let him. Well, fine. That's probably what he was saying. I wrote this. I want it in there. I mean, go sit your ass down. You're not the director, okay? I mean, you are the actor. You wrote some scenes. You're not gonna fuck this. Put that on the floor, by the way, please.
You always do.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you every week. Put it on the floor. You got it near the computer. It's on a towel. It's gonna fall over at some point. So yes, every time you put it there, I'm gonna say put it on the floor.
Well, no. Every time you tell me to do that, I end up kicking it over on the floor. I'll just hold on to it.
Well, I'd rather it be on the floor spilled than on the table.
Oh dear God, he's hulking out.
Exactly. No, you want to see me hulk out? Spill this computer. I will turn into the biggest, blackest Hulk you've ever seen. But it's the biggest and the blackest. I'll be the Black Hulk.
You gonna hit me up for $350?
I'll be the bulk. But yeah. But there's some actors who come in and I think that they can actually ruin the movie by trying to put in all this deeper shit because they come from an acting background. Yeah. And of course they want to we need more depth in this. No, it's the fucking Hulk. Go sit your ass down, okay?
He did direct a movie and it was pretty damn good. So.
No, I give him that. And I enjoyed that movie. I remember when he did that. I wish he'd direct another one because I thought that one was pretty good. But look, we're
talking about Keeping the Faith, by the way.
Exactly.
Edward Norton.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of it, but I do remember we walked out.
If you haven't seen that, it's a pretty good romantic comedy about a priest and a rabbi who fall in love with the same girl. It's pretty damn good.
Who was was it Ben Stiller?
It was Ben Stiller.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of Ben Stiller's best comedies. Mm-hmm. Because Edward Norton totally reins him in. And totally brings him in and says, calm down and just be cool.
Yeah, he's not he's not letting Ben Stiller run and do what he wants, what Ben Stiller does.
Yeah.
Which is why he should understand when he's working on somebody else's project, we might make some changes, okay? They're not going to agree with them. Let us do what we do. And when you direct a Hulk movie, you can do what you want to do.
Take it a little easy on Norton because keep in mind that everything we're hearing is from the gossip mill. And Norton's been very cool and very quiet and has not bitched publicly about this or said anything negative. In fact, despite rumors that he wasn't going to go out and pimp the film, he showed up and did a big Q&A press screening of the film to promote it. He was out there. He just didn't go full out.
Well,
so I'm not going to.
You can't look studio. You can't when you're under studio contract too. You just can't go out and badmouth the movie. Brad Pitt learned that. I think with I don't know. I think it was Meet Joe Black went out there badmouthing that movie in the studio. I was like, come here, shut the fuck up. Like that's that. Now shut your mouth. I mean, it's like
see Meet Joe Black.
Yeah, no, I did. If I was Brad Pitt, I would have been like, look, man, I don't even want to be in this shit. All right, I did it for the money.
Director of Gigli.
Yeah, and I'm not going to even get into it. That was such a bad movie. But
it's not that terrible as much as it was a halfway decent movie that had the worst fucking ending.
I don't even remember the ending. I just remember the movie being almost 3 hours long.
Oh, the ending was it's this great thing where the two guys are walking up over the bridge together.
Anthony, I'll remember that.
Yeah, where they're way over the bridge together and they're going off to the realm of death, into the afterlife, and it's like, oh, that's a cute ending. And then Brad Pitt comes walking back because we have to give the girl the romantic closing, and it's when that happens that it's like, oh hell no, they didn't just fucking do that.
No, it's a terrible movie.
The film.
In a bad movie like that, even Brad Pitt, as powerful an actor as he is in Hollywood, that they even said, hey.
He wasn't at the time.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, this was 97. He was just at that point coming off of the heat he'd gotten off of 12 Monkeys, where everyone's like, "Oh, hey, wow, this guy can act."
Yeah, I mean, he was at the time Brad Pitt, and he probably thought like, "I'm gonna come out and talk shit about this movie because I'm fucking Brad Pitt," and then they were like, "Nah." And I think the same way with Ed Norton, it's like, you know, man, yeah, maybe we had our problems, maybe not, but I don't. But be quiet. Don't say anything. Okay, if you don't want to go out and promote the movie, just don't promote it. Don't badmouth it.
By the same token, all I'm saying is these are rumors. We've heard them only out of gossip columnists, and beyond that, everybody's been cool. He's not like melting down, so we shouldn't admonish him. For
no. But that was going to get into my other topic here, which is all these rumors are going on about Ed Norton fighting with the studios. The Captain America had a cameo in the movie. There's this going on with the Hulk, and people see this stuff online, and then they ask me questions like, "Well, what do you think about this?" I say to people, "Look, it's on the net. Don't believe shit you read on the net all the time, especially they say it's rumor, because one, it could be somebody just putting that shit out there to cause trouble, or two, the studios could be relishing in this shit. It's promotion for the movie. So I myself say, don't believe anything until you see the actual film." Yeah. I mean, cause this whole thing about Captain America being in the movie, somebody made a good point online. They were saying, how the fuck Captain America, how is he going to be in the movie when they haven't even cast the guy yet?
First of all, it was an interview with Louis Leterrier. Now, the thing you need to know about Louis Leterrier going into that interview is he is very, very French. English is his second language. And he did study film here in America, but it is his second language. Now, what Galen Hurd, who produced the film, came out immediately after Leterrier and said, Captain America is not in the film. What Louis was talking about was the fact that the super soldier serum is all throughout the film. They're talking about that every 5 minutes. And that when you see the vial...
It's blue.
Well, it's also... It's got the name of the guy in the original comic who designed the super soldier.
Yeah.
So that is what he was talking about when he was talking about Captain America.
I actually heard him talk about this, and he even pointed at the screen and said that you see a little bit of Captain America there. So I guess people just kind of took that and ran with it and just said, hey, Captain America's in the movie. And plus this whole Arctic thing, they thought he was buried in the ice. But the thing is, apparently Captain America's not in the movie, but everybody was salivating, thinking like, oh, this is going to be on the DVD now and everything. I'm like, just waiting to see. Because, I mean, you just never know. Enjoy the movie. Just go see the fucking movie. Quit worrying about who's, like, people are they're so into cameos now. It bugs the shit out of me. People are going to see movies now to see cameos instead of the actual movie sometimes.
Now, the thing is here, it's really a big deal because this is the first time we've gotten a superhero movie, a Marvel film that acknowledges the other Marvel films. If there was a scene in The Dark Knight this summer, I have not heard anything about this, so don't be, I heard Carlisle on Spill Dog. No. This is a total hypothetical. If The Dark Knight, if Batman in The Dark Knight, if say a scene with Bruce Wayne, he's leaving a hotel or a club, and there's reporters asking him questions, and there's Brandon Routh in the glasses going, Mr. Wayne, a quick question. And just a look between the two guys, dude, everyone would lose their fucking mind.
Now, did you hear that this will be in the movie?
Holy crap, it's Superman and Batman in the same fucking movie.
Did you actually hear that was going to be in The Dark Knight?
No.
Okay. Because, people are going to take that shit and run with it, right?
That's why I premise it. I have not heard. If that happened, though, that would be exactly what's happening here.
Warner Brothers knocking on our door.
They're like, holy crap, it's Superman and Batman in the real movie. We're going to get a Superman-Batman movie.
I think cameos are cool. Just don't let it overshadow the film.
I can't believe they led with... I mean, I can believe. I understand why they led... I mean, the reason they advertised with Iron Man was because everybody who loved Iron Man, it's like, hey, look, it's more Iron Man.
Oh,
it's like, holy shit, it's Iron Man. I want to go see the fucking movie.
Of course. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
But in truth, I totally get the excitement. I'm down with it. Because it means we're bringing the universe together.
No, I'm down with it. I love it. Just take the movie for what it is. Don't go to see it for a cameo.
That said, Marvel needs to pull their fucking head out of their ass. Have you heard about this?
About what?
Marvel is so gung-ho to get an Iron Man movie out by 2010.
That they don't want to use Favreau or Robert Downey Jr.
No.
I mean, if they don't.
It's not that they don't want to. It's that they haven't negotiated with them yet. And both Downey Jr. and Favreau were like, yeah, we can't have a movie ready by 2010. We haven't even started.
Well, Favreau's negotiating money too. Is the last thing I heard, and they don't want to meet his fee for the next movie.
Because clearly he proved that he can deliver a perfect fucking film. He wants to get paid real money for this, and because he was paid, back end, he wants to get paid a nice upfront fee. And
shit, I mean, look, you want to know my take on this? They're bullshit now. They're calling each other's bluffs because there's no fucking way they're going to make another Iron Man movie without Favreau or Robert Downey Jr.
We've said that same thing a dozen times over and seen what happens when a studio says fuck that and goes with somebody else.
Marvel is on a roll right now, and that was my point with bringing up the Hulk. They better get fucking Ed Norton back in that movie. Mm-hmm. And because they're just going to look, you had a Hulk movie out a while back with Eric Bana. And now people are just now beginning to get over the confusion of having a new Hulk movie. Do you want to confuse people more with having another Hulk movie with another actor? No, get Ed Norton back for that.
Well, all they would do is they would make sure that they didn't have, Bruce Banner wouldn't. You would never actually see Bruce Banner in the Avengers film. It would only be Hulk. And they'd write around
But they got 2 other Hulk movies to do, so they need to get Ed Norton back.
They don't have to do 2 other Hulk movies.
That's what they're talking.
That's what they're talking about.
You know what? They're obviously going to do a sequel because they set up for a sequel. So I'm figuring that and the movie's a hit, so they're going to do it. Get Ed Norton back. That's just business.
Whatever it takes to get Ed Norton back, get him back.
Yeah, and I think that they will. In a more severe case here. You better not make another Iron Man movie without Jon Favreau or Robert Downey Jr.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Jon Favreau made that film perfect. He made a great Iron Man film.
Now, they could slide. I know how much you love Jon Favreau, but, I mean, a lot of people still don't know what the director looks like. A lot of people go to this movie. He's a celebrity. People know his name. But your average guy out there, he's behind the screen. What they see is Robert Downey Jr. You better at least get Robert Downey Jr. back.
I believe he's locked in.
Yeah, so
and he was one of those actors that needed to because his career was going to go one way or the other. And this film, he's back on the A-list. Everybody wants him now. He's proven that he's done with the drugs and he's reliable again. And all of a sudden, everybody wants him. Everybody wants to see his films.
And Marvel, I mean, they're doing the right thing. I'm just sad that they don't have. That Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and the Punisher still under control of those other studios. I think that kind of sucks.
Well, they'll slowly get them back. They gave up Spider-Man, and I'm fine with them giving up Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man. I wish they had. Because I'm one of those guys. People gonna jump on my shit. I don't care. I like Spider-Man. I thought it was a very well done movie. Probably the most faithful version of Spider-Man that we have. But did I think it was a perfect movie? Did I love it? Nah. I think they could have done better with Spider-Man.
The first one?
The first one.
Oh,
yeah.
You're on crack.
No, I don't like.
First one was great.
It's a good movie, man. It's really good, but I don't like the Green Goblin in that.
Well, I'm fine with the Green Goblin in that. I
understand people. People are gonna jump my shit, and that's fine. I'm just saying I saw a better movie in there. I really did. And the second one, I love, man.
Second one's fantastic.
Yeah, second one is great. Second one's good.
Third one, piece of shit. Leon, that's Leon and Cyrus, sucking at the teat of Marvel. I hate that movie.
And you know something? I didn't even mind watching it. I was watching it. I had a good time.
The first half of it was awesome. The first half was perfect. The minute the Saturday Night Fever shit starts up, that movie becomes some old bullshit fast. He starts pimp walking down the street, and the thing is that happens, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then it leads into the scene where he commits what we call the sin of Moses, the sin that is unforgivable because he never makes up for it. He smacks around Mary Jane. Whoa. That's where he loses the audience because it's like, whoa, I know that's supposed to be the suit talking, but whoa, you don't have Spider-Man smack around Mary Jane.
I disagree because I think if they had done that, they could have made him a really dark character, which is what they want to do. And you can always say it wasn't him doing that; it was the suit. What lost me was that him being dark also included him being able to play the piano in the
Well,
I'm just like, oh, holy
keep
shit.
in mind, the thing
come
about
on.
that movie is that Sam Raimi didn't want to fucking do it.
That's what I keep telling everybody. He wanted to actually. Now I don't know what you've heard, but what I've heard is he said, "I don't know anything about Venom." He's like, "Look,
No.
I want to do this movie with the Vulture." And
No. It's not that he didn't do anything, want to do anything. He hates Venom. He thinks it's a lame character. He's one of those old school Spider-Man nuts that thought Venom was where they jumped the shark. He wanted to do a movie where Vulture and Sandman break out of prison together, and it's two villains, and that leads to the whole big storyline where they could actually focus more time on developing the whole Hobgoblin storyline to where they really hate each other and then have that big turn at the end against these two villains. But the studio said nobody wants to see the Vulture. Nobody knows who the Vulture is.
Yeah.
All the fans want Venom. That's what they're asking for.
no, Avi Arad was the one that said, "Put the fucking Venom in this movie."
Yeah.
But what I tell you, everybody likes Venom. Shut up.
Yeah,
Put him in
yeah.
there.
And this is the same Avi Arad that I will point out two things. The same Avi Arad that said the Hulk, the Eric Bana Hulk, was the best film that Marvel ever made.
Shit, he's
And
on
that
crack.
also referred to the film he produced, Bratz, as X-Men for girls.
Yeah, fuck him.
That guy lost his goddamn monkey mind.
See, what I even heard was Sam Raimi just said, "I don't want to put two villains in this movie. I want to do the Vulture."
No.
So,
He wanted to do Sandman and the Vulture. It was they wanted to do two villains because Sandman and the Vulture are two parts of the Sinister Six.
See, what I had heard was actually that he wanted to compromise too and actually do. He said, if you want Spawn in the movie, fine. I mean, not Spawn, but Venom. He said, you want Venom? Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the two fucking same characters to me. But he said, if you want Venom in the movie, fine. Let's not rush it though. Let's actually introduce this character and save it for another movie. Which I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Why are you rushing this character,
and
man?
see, the thing is Sony didn't understand that. They understand that now. They've seen Marvel proved it just now that you can work up to the anticipation of a movie and make that work. Everybody walked out of Iron Man, and with that last scene in Iron Man, what's everybody talking about? A movie that's 3 years away.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for the Avengers. It's gonna have. Oh, it's gonna be so awesome. You could have done that with Spider-Man, to where everyone's like, oh my God, I can't wait 3 years. We're gonna get a Venom movie. That's gonna be awesome.
No,
But
and you couldn't do an Avengers movie without Bruce Banner. You just couldn't put the Hulk in there. That would suck.
Dude, that's
Ass.
No, it wouldn't.
No, yeah, it would. I'm not getting into a bunch of comic book shit, but you can't do that. You
Yeah,
can't.
we'll save that for Leon.
Yeah, exactly.
They can argue that.
That's what they do. So, Marvel's kicking ass right now. Good for them. Two good movies that came out. I love it what they're doing with this. I love it that they have ownership and just using the studios as distributors and paying them a fee. So great. Now moving on to something else. What I want to ask you was, did you hear about this whole thing of Katherine Heigl turning down an Emmy Award?
No.
I mean, she actually said that she didn't feel like, and this was posted by somebody, and I thought it was kind of a noble thing, but they said that Katherine Heigl, who was on Grey's Anatomy, she said that, I'm paraphrasing here, she said that I don't feel like my work is strong enough. There's people out there doing a better job, and I want to give them a chance, so I'm going to withdraw my name. Now, somebody got upset because they also said that she went on and said, like, I don't think I was given material strong enough to actually give me a performance that would be worthy of an Emmy nomination. And I don't think she meant anything by that, but people, at least there's one person, like, do you know, fucking writers, do you know how much they put into their work? Do you know what they're doing for a TV script? And she's going to come in and talk shit about them that way? And I was like, I don't think she meant it that way.
Well, and even if she did, so what? So who cares how much you put into it if you're not giving the material? I don't care if you work your ass off. If you aren't giving, top grade material, if you're not giving someone the material they feel the show deserves, well, then they have every right to say that.
I know, I totally agree with you.
I really hate this knee-jerk reaction we have about writers now. I'm a writer. I have friends that are screenwriters in the industry. I totally get that. But it's like any other job. And there is no sacred cow that you can't, body check the writers if the writers aren't living up to it. I watch Grey's Anatomy. I agree with it. I don't think the writers are exactly churning out Shakespeare over at the Grey's Anatomy factory.
You actually hit on what I was going to say. I was like, I've watched that show, and I have never been able to get into it. In fact, first of all, I don't think she really meant anything by that because they just got off this huge controversy with Isaiah Thomas and all this kind of shit. But that huge controversy with Isaiah Thomas, where he said where he called that guy a faggot. Now, I don't agree with what he did there, but when I saw the show, on the show he's a straight guy. But when I just tuned into the show one day and saw that character, I was like, oh, is that a gay character? I didn't know. I thought, and then it come out, it's like, oh no, he's straight, but he's gay in real life. I'm like, well, they really aren't doing a good job at covering that shit up because I thought he was gay from the very beginning. So I'm thinking maybe she was saying, yeah, the shit I'm giving right now really doesn't give me a whole lot to do. I'm not talking shit against writers, but my performance.
And she didn't turn down an Emmy. What she apparently did is turn down
a nomination. Yeah, exactly.
And it's, and she could, there's any number of reasons that could be, and it could be something that she might be very upset with. It could be a situation much like Jessica Biel.
What happened with her?
7 years ago? Well, she became a star because of Seventh Heaven. Mm-hmm. And she really wanted out of that show, but she was locked into a contract because they signed her into a contract when she was a little girl. So she was a teenage girl when she signed it. And then, she starts growing up and she's like, you know what? My name is getting bigger now. I'm getting real roles. I want to be in real movies. I'm a real actress. I'm tired of this, this fucking hokey Christian shit. Give me a real movie, but the thing is they had her locked down to where she couldn't be. They could actually say that she couldn't be in certain films because that it hurt the image of the show. Well, what they didn't have locked down was what she could pose for. So she went and posed for it was either FHM or Maxim. I think it was Maxim, and I
couldn't tell you.
Hardcore sexy pictures with like nipple slips.
I need to look this up. Shit, you mean? How did I miss this?
Oh, dude, they're I don't know.
Where was I?
You didn't know how to use the internet back then.
I guess not. That's the only explanation I can give.
When I met her just after all this had happened, and so she was very distrusting of the press because everyone was writing negative stuff on her because the producers came out to smack her around on it and gave her a hard time. Well, ultimately, she ended up getting out of the contract and went on to become Jessica Biel, big name star.
Yeah.
Because she really is a talented actress and she's gorgeous. So she went on to
one of the best asses in Hollywood. Like her ass has talent just on its own.
Well, there are the pictures. You can find them here.
I'm looking right now.
Yes, but no. So it might be one of those things where she's locked in. She was a nobody when she signed into Grey's Anatomy. She's locked into a huge contract and trying to find a way out. And by turning down an Emmy and mentioning that she doesn't feel the material's good enough because maybe she doesn't, she feels this might trigger the kind of thing that will get her off the show.
No, we don't know if that's for certain.
No,
that's one thing that we're saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that this could be it could be one of those situations where there's a little struggle in the background trying to make the show better or trying to get out of the show, and this is just a public salvo.
Yeah, you always have to consider that there's probably a business angle there too. I mean, really, who is that noble to like just say, "Well, I'm going to turn this down"?
You know what? Ving Rhames.
Remember
when he did that?
No, he did that with Jack Lemmon.
Yeah, and when he decided to share the award with Jack Lemmon because he didn't feel his role was on par with what Jack Lemmon had done, and that was like the best performance of Ving Rhames' career, and he invites Jack Lemmon up to accept this award.
No, it was very nice. And well, I was going to say Marlon Brando was crazy. I remember he didn't accept his Academy Award.
He turned down his award and he said Sacagawea to go.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, he actually had an Indian with a feather come up there, and something. And the Indian girl was even looking like, "What the fuck am I doing up there?"
My favorite rejection of all time was 1970 or 72. I think it was 70, but it was George C. Scott. And George C. Scott failed to show up to accept his award for Patton.
He sent a guy with a sandwich board that said, "Fuck you."
No, he didn't send anybody.
No, I'm just joking.
They asked him beforehand, "Are you going to the Academy Awards?" And he said, "No, I'm staying home to watch hockey." Shit, he didn't show up. He was at home watching a hockey game.
Shit, we weren't born or we were just infants when all this shit was happening. So, it's like, how'd you know this? You just looked it up, I guess?
No, because this is the shit I live, dude. I love this stuff. Are you kidding me?
I mean, you just made it sound like like I was there, front and center, at the Academy Awards. I looked at it.
There's a really great series that came out in the 80s that had the highlights of. They had highlights of every 10 years of the Oscars. and there was one from 1970 to 1980,
Yeah.
which had, and the 1970 and 1980, that's where the Oscars were the most interesting because it was the Wild West. There was all sorts of crazy stuff going on. They were giving out awards to films that nobody thought would ever get them. They had all sorts of strange things. That's the same decade that, they had Vanessa Redgrave got her Academy Award and came up and made disparaging remarks about Israel and what they were doing to
I remember that
Palestinians.
shit. Yeah.
And then somebody else came up and smacked her down saying, you know what, the rest of us have the common courtesy to not bring our politics to this event.
Yeah.
All sorts of crazy stuff. But one of those crazy things was George C. Scott, and I've always respected him for that, for the fact that he didn't make a big thing about it. He just didn't care. He was an actor. He thought the award was kind of silly. And when asked, he said, I'm just going to stay home and watch hockey.
Yeah.
See, I've never respected Brando because Brando pulled a fucking stunt.
Brando's insane too. I mean, he was crazy at the time.
Yeah.
He was living on an island wearing a fucking fur coat all the time and probably walking around a little midget like he did in the Island of Dr. Moreau.
I think you're mistaking him with the character in Island of Dr. Moreau.
I think that's what he did in real life. I think that's why he took the movie. I
don't have to leave my island.
Yeah, exactly. He was sitting up there eating a box of cereal and shit. But they had Woody Allen does the same thing. Woody Allen. I mean, we know Woody Allen's a creepy guy for this whole Soon Yu thing. But I love his movies. But I would tell you I'll be the first to tell you that shit is not right. It's weird. But for years he would play with his band on Oscar nights and he just wouldn't even go. He just like I'm probably not gonna get an Oscar, and if I do, big deal. I want to play music tonight and just not even watch this shit. I kind of respect him for that. So, but anyway, Katherine Heigl, man, who knows? But you're right. Just quit jumping off the bat and saying like, "Oh, this bitch, she meant this." Like, we don't know. I mean, I doubt just from what I've read about her in other articles.
The writers, they work so hard.
Yeah.
You know what we do, and fuck it. If we're not doing our job, we're not doing our job.
But I don't even think she meant it that way. I just think that, you read an article about her and you take what you have there for face value. Let's not read too much into it. Let's see. I got something else here. Now, you know that they're making Land of the Lost, right?
Of course, yeah. With Will Ferrell.
With Will Ferrell, that's right. And this is for all you kids out there who don't know about this. I grew up watching reruns of this shit.
Sid and Marty Krofft. If you are a youngster, or you are a youngster who likes experimenting with the alternative substances, Sid and Marty Krofft is the wacky shit for you.
No, Sid and Marty Krofft, sue me. I'm gonna come out and say it. They did drugs. They did drugs and wrote all this shit.
You mean the Bugaloos were made by a sober person?
HR Puffin stuff, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
Bugaloos, the Bugaloos.
Oh, they're in the air and everywhere. Flying high, flying free. Yeah, I remember that shit. I mean, I tell you what, the Bugaloos. Okay, let me just tell you some of these shows. They had Lidsville, which was a show about talking hats. And they had HR Puffin stuff. Now, that is the most psychedelic shit. It was a British kid with a magic talking flute.
British gay kid with a magic talking flute.
Yeah, he wore like striped pants and he had a gold encrusted flute. Went to the land of living things. What was that? What was it called? It was called Living Island, where the mayor was a big puffy dragon named HR Puffin stuff. And everything on that island could
get
talk.
A little and you can't get enough.
Oh, yeah. HR Puffin stuff. You can't get a little and you can't get enough. Look this shit up. And there was a witch called Witchy Poo who wanted the magic flute for whatever reason, I guess to masturbate with or something. And she would come after Jimmy, the guy with the flute.
Well,
and
everything in every Sid and Marty Krofft show, there was a villain. And the villain was, was often a woman, but there was always the evil villain.
Except for Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. I mean, and on Living Island, that's why they call it, because books and cars and everything talked. It was the craziest shit. Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, it involves these two surfer kids, these two brothers, and they go out to surf one day and they find a sea monster. Oh yeah, go ahead. He's gonna go take a piss while I tell you about this. But they find a sea monster. And this fucking sea monster is named Sigmund. And Carlisle's gone. I just want to tell you now why he's not here. You don't notice whenever he's here with me, but he tries to always put his hand on my knee. And I don't know how to tell him I'm not that way. I guess I could probably just pull him aside and say, look, man, this is getting out of control. But any advice you can give me, I would greatly appreciate that. Basically, I'm saying help while he's gone. So yeah, this sea monster has his family that he lives with, and for some reason, this family, they hate this guy. They hate Sigmund. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with All in the Family, but that's what the sea monster's family was like. And they used to beat the shit out of him, I guess, and all this kind of stuff. And my point with bringing this up is that, and Land of the Lost. Land of the Lost is what they're making a movie out of. It was actually a pretty cool series. It dealt with this family called the Robinsons. They they fell through a portal or something when they went down a waterfall and ended up in this land that's kind of amalgamation of different time periods. You have dinosaurs, you have little caveman,
and you have
the Sleestack. The Sleestack were the coolest. Yeah, they were like Lizard Man. And that was actually, it wasn't a funny show. It was actually kind of serious. That
was the one that wasn't fucked up. That was the big success.
That was actually good science fiction.
It was all about, this family that ends up in this bizarre throwback time, and it was actually, it had its goofiness to it. But it was an adventure show. It was effectively, what was Arthur Conan Doyle's story that was along those same lines?
He did a story like that? And Arthur Conan Doyle is the guy who... Now, I could get confused either. Sherlock Holmes or Conan... Yeah. Okay, that's right.
Sherlock Holmes and Arthur Conan Doyle, he did one... was it actually Land of the Lost? Is that what it was called?
But this series was cool. It had some of the worst special effects because it was all video back then. But it was a really cool show, man. And I think they're gonna fuck it up by trying to make it funny with Will Ferrell in it.
I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't know
what happens.
But my point with bringing that up, I was telling everybody while you were gone, is that they are doing a Sigmund and the Sea Monsters movie and an HR Puff and Stuff movie. Now, I don't know. They said they're talking about it. I have the article here. I'll just read a little bit of it. They said, while visiting Universal Studios, where the Land of the Lost is taking us up into the studio space that has taken up more studio space at Universal than ever before.
That's because there was a fire.
Yeah, because there is no studio.
There is hardly any studio left. So
Sid and Marty Krofft talk about their future projects. When asked if they were planning on bringing any more of their television series to the big screen, Marty stated, "We're working on it. We're close on Puff and Stuff and Sigmund. At this point in time, both brothers, and I thought they were dead, both brothers are in the final stages of finalizing this deal with a certain studio. Exactly which studio that is remains to be seen." If
there's even a studio at all.
Exactly.
It's a magical studio from across the lake of living things.
They're high right now. Yeah, man, we're doing this shit. We got people throwing us money.
Dude, everybody, I keep talking to this guy down the street, and he really wants to make a Sigmund movie, dude. It's going to be awesome.
It's a dude with purple skin, a green mustache, and he says he has all kind of wonderful gold coins. And it's like, yeah, okay. No, I don't know, man. They said that they're tight-lipped on the subject right now, but they're getting close to it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, you know what? HR Puff and Stuff could make a really fucked up CG film.
He could. All this shit can make a fucked up CG film. All of this. Everything that they've done. I don't
see why you'd want to make a Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
Why not, man? What out of everything that they make today? I mean, where will you start? They made an underdog movie.
Girl.
Electro Woman and Dyna Girl. I forgot about
Electro Woman and Dyna Girl.
Dr. Shrinker. You remember?
Yeah.
Kids, we're just listing shit off. You're going to have to go look this stuff up because they made several crazy... the Far Out Space Nuts. Okay, get this.
Oh, God. It was Gilligan's Island in space. It was awesome.
It was Bob Denver from Gilligan and a fat guy that looked like the skipper from Gilligan's Island. And this is the funniest line from the show. What it is it's two technicians. I mean, they might even been janitors or something. They accidentally launch themselves up into space, and they do it this way. Like, they give off a list. They say, suit, helmet, launch. It's like, no, I said launch, not launch. And the guy presses launch, and they go up into space, and they go to different planets and have all these crazy adventures. So it's like two janitors in space. They did some insane shit.
Which the Wayans brothers remade in the 90s, and they called Homeboys in Space.
Did they make a movie called Homeboys in Space?
No, there was a TV show called Homeboys in Space. Did you never see Homeboys in Space?
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, it was awful. I think wasn't that a UPN show? It was unspeakably awful.
I have a protective shield against black ignorance.
No, you know, because you saw Soul Plane.
Oh man, that was my weak point right there.
And
that was my
kryptonite.
2,
The Blackening. Or Blackjacking, that's what it's called.
Are you serious? There's a Soul Plane 2 straight to video?
No, that was a bit on the Boondocks.
Oh,
Soul Plane 2,
I love that episode, by the way. But yeah, look, I want to see them make this shit. I really do. I want to see how Land of the Lost does, and I want to see them make all this drug-induced, and all this shit that was obviously derived from being in a drug-induced hallucination when they wrote all this shit. I want to see this come to the screen. I'd love to see it. So yeah,
but only if you get the right drug-induced director.
Name one. Who could it be?
Oh, God. You know what? Okay, Dream. An actually good HR Puffin Stuff movie.
You know what? I will tell you this. If they could actually make a really good HR Puffin Stuff movie, not going there laughing about it and making fun of it, that guy who directed The Fall.
Oh, Tarsem?
Yeah.
I don't know if Tarsem's right, but I see where you're going. That's cool.
It's so visual.
I would like to see Terry Gilliam. A Terry Gilliam HR Puffin Stuff
You're
movie.
perfectly right.
Dude, if there's any place to put midgets, it's in an HR Puffin Stuff movie. That movie would rock.
And the HR Puffin Stuff did have midgets in costumes running around.
Yeah.
They had these little Keystone Cops looking characters, and they would obviously
Terry
midgets in
Gilliam's HR Puffin Stuff.
Oh, you were so right.
Dude,
Tim Burton would be good to direct one of these movies.
No, because Tim Burton would make it too dark. Because Tim Burton likes the... I mean, look what he did to Willy Wonka. I mean, as much as I love the Willy Wonka movie, he made it darker. Because
Actually,
he's got this very heavy-handed dark...
I don't even like the Willy Wonka movie that much, but his version was actually closer than the original
I
movie.
like it. The thing is, he always adds dark to everything. And HR Puffin Stuff has to be light and fluffy.
Actually, HR Puffin Stuff was kind of spooky in the witchy poo parts.
Yeah,
it
but
has that perfect Tim Burton angle to it.
Because Gilliam is the one that gets it right.
I don't know, man. I think if there's anything Tim Burton is suited for, because Tim Burton is not one of my favorite directors today. But if he was suited for anything, it would be that.
And you know why they're very close to negotiations? You know why this stuff's coming out all of a sudden?
Because they remake everything? No, why?
Because Where the Wild Things Are, by Spike Jonze, is coming out very shortly.
Let me ask you something about that movie. I heard so many different things. I heard that that they went back and did a lot of reshoots because it was too scary, and I heard they did some reshoots because it was just plain bad.
Well, they screened it like 6 months to a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, God, when did they screen? They screened it a while back, and it still doesn't, they're still doing work on it. So, I don't know. I know that a lot of the CG work wasn't done. I read a couple of reviews from that early test screening, some of which said it was really good, and some said, it needs work.
See, that's what I read. That's the same thing I read.
But then again, it was an early test screening, so those are always done so that they can find out what works and what doesn't.
I would love to see Spike Jonze do another movie. Of course, he did Being John Malkovich, but he directed some of the best videos out there.
Well, he directed a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, no, I say he's directed. Well, what else, as far as movies go, what else did he direct? And now, Jackass, did he like? Did he?
No, I think I don't know what his involvement with Jackass.
I know he had something to do with the show being on MTV.
Then it might have been produced by, but I don't think he directed.
What other movie did he direct?
Didn't he? God, now I'm blanking. Didn't Spike Jonze do Adaptation?
No.
Who directed Adaptation?
I don't know. Maybe that was Charlie Kaufman that directed that.
No. Kaufman didn't direct it.
He
Kaufman
didn't
just wrote.
Okay, because I guess he hasn't directed one movie yet because he's coming out with Burn After Reading or something, and that's going to be his movie. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think.
No, because the Coen brothers did Burn After Reading.
Okay, then I don't know, but I don't think he directed.
No, I'm blanking on. God, what else?
I don't think he directed Adaptation though. I can look it up. Maybe he did. I'll tell you right now.
Look it up.
He probably did. I just don't remember his name being attached to that. But let me look and see. But look, make these movies, man. I'd love to see.
I think anyhow. What I was saying is, I think that might be why is they're prepping for Where the Wild Things Are to take off and to be able to have these things that are like that, because that's what happens in Hollywood. Every time there is a huge.
Hey, you know what? You're right. He did direct Spike. It is directed by Spike.
I thought so. When you gave me that look, I was like,
no, I just gave you the look. Like I don't know.
What else, and what else did he do? I'm blanking on Jones right now. Adaptation and what else?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
no. I thought you had it right in front of you.
Oh, I can type his name in and do.
What else did you do?
I just.
How Hollywood typically works is whenever something's a huge hit, everyone in town says, "I want the next blank." When Wedding Crashers was a big success, everyone wanted a raunchy comedy that was like The Wedding Crashers, which is how 40-Year-Old Virgin got picked up. When Dodgeball was a big hit, it was the same thing. Once Spider-Man was a big hit, everybody wanted to make a superhero movie. So if this is a big hit, if that and Land of the Lost are huge, of course certain studios are going to want other Sid and Marty Krofft throwbacks.
Man, you ought to see this shit. I looked up Spike Jonze looking for his movies, and they gave me all of his fucking videos and everything.
Oh, his videos are awesome.
He directed one of my favorite videos. He's done a lot, but one of my favorite ones is he did, and he does a lot of commercials too. But he did this totally weird video for Daft Punk.
Oh yeah,
which was a dog. There was a guy with a dog head, walking around the city, just talking to people, buying books, and he was just like a day in the life of this. But nobody said anything about this guy having a fucking dog head. Everybody just interacted with him like he even met with a girl, and he's like, we broke up a while back. How
No. It's like I used to live next door to you.
That was it.
Hey.
And it was like he was going to go out on a date with her. Yeah, he's like, we should go get lunch sometime or dinner. He's like, yeah, and then she got away, went on a bus, and he didn't get a number.
My favorite Spike Jonze video is Sabotage.
Oh, the Beastie Boys. Yeah,
that was just a cool fucking video. If you've never seen this, if for some reason you've never seen the Beastie Boys Sabotage video, it's fantastic. It is just a cool throwback to the 70s.
That's a very popular video. No, everybody's seen Sabotage.
Well, you say everybody, but keep in mind that we have a lot of youngsters that listen and who think, who weren't even alive to hear Intergalactic on the radio.
No, I mean, but
Sabotage is early 90s, my friend.
But Beastie Boys is so big. I mean, people.
I'm just telling you, if you've never heard Sabotage, type it into YouTube, watch it. It's fucking awesome.
And I'm trying to find the Daft Punk video. Just type in Daft Punk and Spike Jonze, and that video is really crazy. And you can find a bunch of videos. Or if
you want to see great Spike Jonze, go out and rent the DVD that has both of these videos as well as a number of them on it.
I got that DVD.
Yeah, those DVDs are great. There's a whole series of DVDs that came out that the complete works of, or the works of, and it's a number of directors, and Spike Jonze is one of the 7 directors that was part of that series, and it's all his videos that he did.
Yeah, Chris Cunningham is another guy, and
but his isn't great.
I love that Chris Cunningham.
That's the one I barely watch. The Spike Jonze, the Mark Romanek, who's the other one that had a really great?
What's his name?
Michel
Gondry. And I have that one. I have all those. They're great. They're really, if you want to be a filmmaker, look at those DVDs. They're wonderful. So anyway, let's move on to because we're closing up here.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
I only have one email here.
Good.
And it's kind of a depressing one.
I know you hate those. You're gonna do this shit again, dude. You went through to find the most depressing. So my girlfriend committed suicide with my mother the other day, and I'm just wondering how should I deal with that now that she took my dog with her.
This was not that bad. There's no suicide. Let's see. It says, "Hey, I have a question for your Coco section." This comes from one of our regulars here, Deadpool. So I feel like we owe it to him.
We owe it to Deadpool. I love the fact. Let's go on.
You don't like Deadpool?
I didn't say I don't like Deadpool.
I love Deadpool. I love all you guys, though. Anyway, it says, my cousin and uncle died right before The Incredible Hulk came out, and I was in a sad place for a while, and I couldn't get my mind off of them. So my dad brought me to see The Incredible Hulk, and it was at the advanced screening, so it really helped me get through that phase. But, what did he say? But I'm just going to read it like he put it. But my dad would always watch the TV show with my cousin. And so I guess that's a kind of nostalgic thing for him. And here's his question. So I was wondering if there was ever a movie that helped you or Carlisle get through a problem. I have one of the perfect things for this, but has there ever been a movie that helped you get through anything at all?
Well, there's multiple. I use movies for that all the time. I have my feel-good movies whenever I'm having a bad day, or I've got what I watch when I have writer's block, and I have there's a whole series of those. But what do you have in mind specifically?
Well, I'm not going to necessarily say I watch this movie over and over again when I get sad, but there's been this is going to be silly, but there's been times that I felt so low or lonely, or I just felt like an outsider, or nobody liked me, and whenever that happened, I always imagined myself being in North by Northwest. I was Cary Grant in North by Northwest. My day was going horribly wrong, and all of a sudden, my day would take this different turn where I got pulled into this whole caper of mistaken identity. Somebody thought that I was some spy or I was some government agent, and I got pulled to this big adventure. And after it was all done, I couldn't even think about my problems at the time because I was pulled into something more grand than I was. If you've never seen North by Northwest, it has Cary Grant, and it's a case of mistaken identity. These spies for I think I don't know, these fucking international spies or something. They mistake him for being a secret agent, and he gets pulled into this adventure by no means of his own. And I've always thought of myself like, wow, I would love to be that guy, because in the movie he's so cool, and plus he's in something where he's having a bad day too, and it just kind of takes his life just takes a whole new direction when this happens to him.
Well, I'll tell you, there was a time. God, this is years ago. This has got to be 7-8 years ago now. I was working at a Blockbuster Video, and it's Christmas time, and it's been a horrible day, and it's 10 minutes to close, and I just want to go home and, play some PlayStation, have a beer, and relax. Just get done with dealing with people. And a bunch of college girls come in. So it's an awful day, dude. And these girls, they come in and they're being the giggly college girls. And normally, it's like, oh, hey, cool, look, it's college girls, awesome. But this time it was like, oh, God damn it, I do not want to deal with your shit. You're going to be here forever. Just get out of my fucking store. I want to close up. Well, I was having such a bad day, I decided to put in a feel-good movie for me. It's a little thing called Falling Down.
That's the feel-good movie you're talking
Falling Down, for those of you not familiar with it, is a great Michael Douglas movie that's directed by, Nipples on the Batsuit. What's his name?
God damn it.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know.
Right
why can't it begins with an F, I think? Joel Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher. So Joel Schumacher directed this. It's a great little film.
Name begins with an F. How did I get that?
This guy who has a terrible day and just finally snaps. And he just loses it and just goes nuts and blows shit up and beats the crap out of people. And he's tired of all the daily bullshit. Well, so these girls finally find their movies and they come up in line. And because it's Christmas, the stupid fucking stores put all these little stuffed things that sing all over the store.
Oh, that's enough to drive you nuts, man.
So one of those girls in line is like touching the button of a thing singing, jingle bell, jingle all the way to and it ends and she presses it again, jingle bell, jingle bell,
Jesus
jingle
Christ.
I'm
about to blow up right now.
And I was just looking at them and they come up to me and I'm like, I take their their movies and I'm like, oh, have you guys ever seen this movie before? And they're like, no, what is this? Oh, this is a great movie. It's called Falling Down. It's about a guy who, has a really terrible day at work and just starts to lose his mind and then decides he wants to go around and beat the shit out of people with a baseball bat. So stop fucking touching the goddamn doll. The girl jumps 20 feet backwards and everyone is horrified. And then all of her friends just start laughing and just lose it and start laughing at her. And it felt so good. And to this day, whenever I'm having a really terrible day, I pop in that movie and think about that horrible, horrible, awful college girl and how I scared her enough to make her probably crap
Thank
her
God
pants.
you did that instead of actually taking a bat and bashing her head.
Oh, why would you bash in a college girl's head?
Because she's annoying, that's why.
No, there's other things to do with that.
Like what? I don't even want to hear. But no, it's a great story, man. Seriously, I know it sounds like sarcasm. That was a great story.
But that's that movie. I wouldn't recommend that Deadpool watch that one to make him feel better. I find feel good movies. I have my personal one. Oh, you know what? Here, a lot of people ask me about this. Why it's on my top 10 list? On my favorite movies of all time list. Not top 10, but favorite movies. Sky High.
Oh yeah.
People are like, why is every once a month somebody comes in and I go, why is Sky High on your comment on your favorites list?
It's not a bad movie, man.
Dude, I love that movie though. It combines John Hughes movie with a superhero movie. It's the closest thing we'll ever get to a New Mutants movie.
Yeah.
I just love, and every time I watch that film, I feel like a little kid and just love it.
It's that Disney label on there that throws everybody off.
Yeah, and I just adore that film. And every time I'm having a really bad day and I feel like I'm in the dumps and I need to get up, I pop that movie in and it makes me feel really good. And that's why it's one of my favorites, because it is that breaking case of emergency movie that's like, you know what? Today sucks. I'm going to watch Sky High.
Yeah. No, I did. I know what you mean by that, because I did a few months as a security guard when I was trying to get a whole bunch of shit done. And
we've all done a number of
oh man,
jobs.
you don't know. I mean, and one of the reasons why I took it is so I could get work done and get paid for just sitting in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, no. Everyone I know that's ever done that has usually been an artist type or a creative type.
Or a student.
Because they can study, they can read books, they can play video games or whatever. Because you're just sitting there, and every once in a while you get up, you walk around, wave a flashlight, and go, "All right, I'm back to my drawing again."
They had me watching a cell phone tower, like a big pole that was just being constructed, a stick pretty much, and I had this one little space that I would just stay in all night. And if you're in college, this is one of the best jobs you can have. I mean, granted, if you don't want a social life. And one of the things that would get me through the night when I was just tired of working, because I mean it's 8 hours, I would just get tired of working at some point, and I would sit down and watch a movie. For all those months, man, it probably were. I did that job for probably about like 4 months, maybe, possibly 5. But there were a good 2.5 months where every night I watched Jackie Brown for some reason. And I don't know why. So, and that was just one of the movies I still watch to this day, and I can get over that.
Yeah, that reminds me of a story. I had a buddy, one of the dumbest guys I've ever known in my life.
We always had that one guy.
No, like this is in the history of dumb motherfuckers. This guy was one of the dumbest. He was a security guard one time down at a museum in San Antonio, and he was guarding for a week, 8 days. His job was to stand there for 12 hours a night and guard the Thinker.
The what?
The Thinker. The classic 15-foot marble statue of the guy.
The statue of the Thinker?
The statue of the Thinker. This guy's job was to watch one of the most well-recognized, well-regarded works of art in history.
It was the actual statue?
The actual statue.
Oh,
it came through. It tours around the world. It came through San Antonio. And, of course, they have security guards, and they hire the brightest and the best, clearly, to stand there and watch the statue all night. And he watched the Thinker for a week. And when he was done, I was like, dude, what was that like, being in the presence of, something that's so widely regarded, being right there with this thing that we've all seen, we all know, even though some of us have never seen it in person.
And he said, boring.
What did you think about while you were there? What did you come to while you were sitting there with the Thinker? I don't know, dude. Mostly we just played cards.
I mean, really?
You're in the presence of one of the greatest pieces of art in history, and your answer is, really, man, we just played cards.
Okay, I got to ask you this, though. What are you supposed to do? After one night where you, stand there like, shit, it's the Thinker. The next night you're going to be like, fuck it, it ain't doing nothing. Let's play cards.
Even there, there's realization in there. We're like, you know what? For the first night, it was pretty fucking awesome, but by the second night, I was just kind of like, okay, this is the same piece of rock I was looking at yesterday.
I mean, maybe that's what he meant.
And there's even realization to be had there that, for, what is considered grandiose art, eventually just becomes another cool-looking rock.
Yeah, I mean, he probably got so tired looking at that fucking man all night. I mean,
but his answer is, I don't know, man. We just mostly played cards. It was just, it's...
Come on, I got to be on his side. It's a piece of rock after a while, like you said.
Leave it to you to decide with one of the dumbest motherfuckers.
Exactly. I mean, hey, I've been on one of those jobs. The only thing that got me by, like I said...
but you were watching a cell phone tower.
Yeah, but here's the deal, though. I mean, seriously, kids, when you're going to college, get this kind of job and make sure they put you out in the middle of fucking nowhere by yourself, because every night I packed up, not a lunch, I packed up an office. I packed up a card table, my GameCube. I packed up my computer, a television. I pretty much took my living room to this place.
Really took this guarding job seriously.
It's a fucking pole. You goddamn right. I mean, there was one night that I actually got some real excitement. There were kids skateboarding out in this little drainage bin, and I didn't even do shit. I was just in the shadows, and because I was just looking at them to make sure they didn't do anything. I was hiding behind the shadows, and one of the kids turned around. And he just stood there and froze. And his friend came up and was like, dude, what's wrong, man? And he's like, there. And he looked up and saw my
black man in the dark watching secretly.
I was the blackest of men because I was in shadow. And when the dude turned around, it was like one ran and they all fucking ran together. Nobody even asked questions. It's like, ah! So I was like, that was exciting. I'm never going to get this. The job is not going to get any more exciting out of that.
And then you zipped up and put it away.
What's wrong with you? Hey, boys, wait.
Come back here.
I'm like
I want you to touch Mr. Willie.
I'm like the dude on Family Guy. Wait a minute, guys. You like popsicles?
You like $20 bills?
Anyway, okay, that's a perfect time to end this shit here.
Good night, everybody.
All right.